we're live. YouTube. What is up? Back at episode number 3. Ava told me to put a hat on because my hair looked like I just rolled out of bed. If you see this hat, it is a Wu-Tang vegan hat. It is awesome. And I got to put it on. Hopefully I look better. Impossible Whopper. So we're jamming on the Impossible Whopper, and there's a lot of talk about it, a lot of craze because it just came out. A lot of people are talking, and they're just giving their thoughts on it, the taste. I mean, it's just this plant-based movement since the movie Game Changers, since, Burger King is starting to come out with this. McDonald's now is going to closely follow. You got Dunkin' Donuts coming out with the sausage. Beyond Meat, you got a lot of restaurants. I know we go to Red Robin, they have it. A lot of restaurants are starting to serve it. And we went to a restaurant yesterday right here in Grand Rapids called Gravity. Met our man Carlos, wanted his opinion on the Impossible Whopper because it was a new item. They just changed it. In fact, they just took off the cauliflower tacos that we were looking for. Kind of got into a conversation saying, hey, how the Impossible Whopper is or selling, and he kind of gave his opinion.
And the truth is, his opinion really is shared by many people out there, so it's why we really wanted to bring it to topic. And by the way, we've been asked on several occasions, how is the Impossible Whopper? And to be truthful with you guys, the Impossible Whopper's been out for a while. There's been other breweries, other businesses that have incorporated this burger. This is just the first time that we've actually seen it go mainstream into a company like Burger King. And then if you guys have not been paying attention, they crushed their sales, and other people are starting to follow suit, which is really, really exciting. But Carlos' opinion is, I'm going to call it the Carlos effect or something, whatever. I'm going to bring a name to this. Oh, he's pulling a Carlos. But is very shared by many people is that, the Impossible Whopper actually, it's not that great because it is highly processed. And if you're just going to eat at something highly processed, you might as well be eating a real burger. That's exactly what he said. And if I know you have the same thoughts out there, and that's why we want to talk about it. Pete, what's your initial take on when someone says, why would I eat something highly processed? Isn't it just better to eat meat?
So yeah, I mean, it's definitely interesting debate. And I think where we'll start is it absolutely is processed. It is a processed food. It is not healthy in any way, shape, or form. What it does do is it is, and Ava, you go into calling this and coin the term, or kind of you heard it from what Dr. McGregor or Dr. Greger calls it, transition food. And that's exactly what it is. It helps get you and your mindset into the fact that you don't need to consume meat in order to live or eat a burger. You don't need it to be actual meat or dead animal. It could be something else. That something else right now, companies have came out with this, this artificial, this processed way of making it seem like you're consuming the real thing. It's fascinating. It plays tricks on your mind the first time that you have it. I almost can guarantee it. And and by no means is it healthy. So, but at the same time, when someone says, it's healthier to eat real meat over this processed thing, there's a valid point, or there's a valid argument that you can probably, you're going to get both sides, depending on who you talk to. But then when you kind of go into the secondary mode of like shift from health to like, harming an animal so you can eat, it becomes very easy. And so, and that's what we're trying to, that's what I kind of strive people to kind of think about. It's not only just about health, it's also, about kindness and like doing the right thing.
So, of course, we 100% encourage a whole food, plant based diet. And the more we can stick to that, obviously, the better. But who doesn't want to indulge and enjoy some of your favorite foods? I like ice cream. I like burgers. I like all of these things as well. And so, just like I would never encourage somebody to eat on a reoccurring basis a bunch of burgers, I wouldn't encourage people to eat a bunch of Impossible burgers. But for those, when you're just filling a burger and you wanna you wanna have one, right? I do encourage to go the Impossible Burger or one of the other transitional meat options. And you guys, they're not all not all of the brands out there are highly processed. In fact, some restaurants out there really do their own in-house veggie burgers or make their own bean burgers from scratch. And that's the ultimate when you can find those. But there is something, when we go to certain restaurants and they have the alternative to meat, it's definitely a great win for us. So just like a regular burger, you wouldn't want to be consuming that on a regular basis. The same thing with the Impossible Burger. And so I don't find that it's going to have a huge, tremendous impact on your diet when you throw in some processed foods and meats here and there to just get those nice indulgences out of the way. And it's cool, like Pete said, to see how far science has came. And there's been so many different little tests that people doing to if they can tell the difference between the Impossible Whopper and the regular Whopper. And people are picking the Impossible Whopper that it tastes better. And it's funny to me.
I mean, when we first got into it, I was like, so nervous that it was going to be like the real thing, because I kind of like made up my mind that I didn't want to eat meat again, and when I had the Impossible Whopper at one of the restaurants, it was like almost like it was so realistic. Like I had to question the waitress. I'm like, are you sure this is this is the Impossible? And oh yeah, a lot of people get that, and we made sure, and it was kind of like refreshing to hear, knowing that it's realistic. But it is processed, and if like once you make up your mind going on this plant-based option, like it absolutely is a delicious, like indulging comfort food that gets, you get away with like, oh my, it gets the burger craving off of your mind, and you feel satisfied. And a lot of it has to do with like just the toppings. I mean, you get like a good bun, like in a Burger King, likes the bun. You get a good bun, the lettuce, tomato, the onion. In this case, you got to watch the mayonnaise, because that, if you're not introducing eggs, or you don't want to introduce eggs, you got to watch the mayonnaise. So we did ask for no mayonnaise and no cheese for the no dairy, but it did simulate, that Whopper fast food in the wrapper. Getting it fast, right? It's quick. You open the wrapper, so your mindset's like it's okay. So now it's possible to go to a fast food place and get the burger feeling or the craving, satisfied without having to contribute to the slaughter of the animals.
And the cool thing is, not only are you really going to enjoy this burger, but your kids are going to enjoy it as well. And so I have one of the biggest burger lovers, my oldest son, and he loves this. And when we see it on the menu, they like go for it every single time. So it really is, if you're there and you're like, you know what, I'm thinking about going plant-based, but dang, I'm just scared to give up some of my favorite foods, and one of my favorite foods is just a good burger. This should maybe put your mind at ease that you're not going to be giving up your favorite foods. Your favorite foods are just going to be looking a little differently. In fact, actually, this doesn't look any differently, but they're going to be just the different flavors. And that's the biggest thing that I always want to drive home to people, is that the food actually all looks the same. It looks like, when I make my lentil loaf and we have burgers and we had tacos and whatever, the food looks exactly the same. It's just made in a different way.
Correct. And the texture too is big on this, right? And with this meat, the texture, the texture is is like, beef or ground beef or like a real burger in this case. And you brought up something a little bit earlier was the bean burgers. Like a bean burger really doesn't taste like, like meat at all, but it simulates like that grabbing with your hands, the feeling of like it's called a burger, even though it's actually not, right? I mean, a bean burger, it's made with beans, or you can replace it with lentils and mushroom. You find different ways. There's going to be many different options now consuming like a burger without the harm or the abuse of an animal. It's going to be plant-based, and now there's so many different options. So the one burger we had was mushroom. We replaced it with mushroom. There's other different ways to replace the actual patty and simulate that burger feeling, and it takes the craving away.
You can make chickpea burgers, bean burgers, portobello burgers.
Yep.
There's so many, like Pete said, there's a ton of different options. And at the end of the day, like, it's really hard to mess up a burger. It really is about the toppings, and the toppings, you can make your own vegan garlic aioli sauce. You can top it with some nice avocado or grilled onions. And there really is those are what the parts that really make the burger. I mean, it's pretty similar to tacos.
And you brought up a good point with you interchange it with the different breads. So another thing that came out, I think it was like what was it? The Carl's Jr. first came out with the ciabatta thing, but it was emphasized the different bread of the burger, and it was made with ciabatta bread. And then when you actually got like ciabatta bread, I was like, oh, it's way different than the typical bread that you would use in a burger. Everyone uses the typical sesame bun, like the fast food, Impossible Whopper here. But when you change the bun to like a ciabatta or a different type of bread, that also changes the flavor, changes obviously the nutritional value of what we're eating. You replace the burger actually with plants, and now you got yourself a actual very healthy meal made all from plants.
So we definitely ranked this Impossible Whopper a 10 out of 10. And really, it's based on realistic to taste, meets that fast and convenient food, tastes great, and most importantly, no harm of animals had to take place for us to enjoy a burger fast food style.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, 10 maybe pushing it only because it is so processed. Okay, it really is. It is processed.
I mean, but it's
but
I hate to argue this, but I don't want to go into a dark hole, but it's processed, yes, but think about the grade of meat that are happening in fast food chains, and is that really much better than the process and what the type of quality of meat that is going into those burgers? You really have to really ask yourself that too.
Yeah, that's true, and it goes back to this. I think when you call it from a health perspective, do you want processed stuff, or do you want like that nasty farm factory, the way the meat or the beef ends up from farm or whatever, like even being born to now your meal, versus like processed foods and like, I mean, I think that's going to be an individual decision, but for us it's clearly the decision is to go with the processed foods over contributing to the slaughter and the conditions of the cows and how they become beef.
So we highly encourage you go check this burger out yourself. Yes. And like, comment below, put your thoughts, let us know how you liked it. If it was your first time trying it, what your favorite versions of going a plant-based burger are, and maybe your favorite recipes that you can share with others. And like, I highly encourage every Monday, go meatless on Monday, and support.
What's tomorrow?
Yeah.
Nice.
Support it. Try
Perfect
it.
time.
I think you'll maybe we'll do another podcast on going meatless on Monday.
I mean, we just got to continue these a bunch of different episodes.
Okay,
I think
let's
we just
end this real quick
freestyle.
just so you have this, and then we'll just do Meatless Monday, and then we'll be done.
All right, so this is episode 3 going down now. We're done with episode 3, recording on the Impossible Whopper. Check it out.